Here on the famous Cimarron Cutoff of the Santa Fe Trail, and on the south side of the Arkansas River, or as some described it, on the east side of the bend, sometime in the early or late evening of Wednesday, September 16th, 1846, 32-year-old husband and father of three, Private Alva Phelps, died. He was born in 1813 in Susquehanna County, Pennsylvania, and at age 22 he married Margaret Robinson, also a Pennsylvanian. In January of 1843, at age 29, he joined the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. 3 years later, he and his wife were known to have been living in the Mormon Church headquarters of Nauvoo, Illinois. And in that same year, 1846, they left the Mormon metropolis with fellow Mormons to head west to safety. At Council Bluffs, Iowa, Alva constructed a dugout, and while continuing to prepare for his family, there arrived on the scene Captain James Allen and the government's request for an Army enlistments. Alva and Margaret had 3 children, a 7-year-old daughter, a 5-year-old son, and an 11-month-old daughter. Margaret wrote many years later, "I was very ill at the time, my children all small, my babe also extremely sick, but the call to enlist was pressing. There was no time for any provision to be made for wife or children, no time for tears. Regret was unavailing. He started in the morning, and I watched him from my wagon bed till his loved form was lost in the distance. It was my last sight of him." Less than 2 months later, Alva Phelps died. On the day of his death, he had taken medicine from the Army staff doctor, Dr. Sanderson, perhaps for the first time a concoction of calomel or mercury chloride, and other things now disputed by medical science, but common practice for the Army doctors at the time. Alva died a few hours later. Many fellow battalion members, whether accurately or inaccurately, attributed his death to the doctor's medicine. The weather had been cold and stormy off and on for some time. With numerous others in the battalion, Alva Phelps had been sick for several weeks. Because it was near or after sunset when he died, his body was kept in the tent of a fellow battalion soldier. Early the next morning, before the battalion resumed its march, companions dug his grave by torchlight. They could dig down only 4 feet because of the water seeping into the grave. Not long after the news of her husband's death reached Iowa, Margaret gave birth to a premature daughter, their 4th child, who it was thought would not live long, but who grew to maturity and became the mother of 10 children herself. Their oldest daughter lived to be 79 and died in Salt Lake City. It is not known what happened to the 5-year-old son. The 3rd child lived to be 82 and died in Idaho. Margaret remarried a year and a half later after Alva's death and died in Oakley, Idaho at age 72. Here, on the banks of the Cimarron River, we commemorate Alva Phelps on September 11th, 2008.